What's good with YouTube? Fight fans all over the world. It's your boy, the realest of the real. Yes, sir, I said a Real Talk Boxing. It is a privilege and honor and a major blessing to be back with you beautiful people yet again. Took the day off, and why not start putting up some content, man? People have been wondering where I've been, why I haven't been on much. I explained that in a video, but some people may have missed it. I've been training myself. I've been training myself for my upcoming fight. I've been training another guy, Big D. He's been coming out here recently, and trying to put some things together myself. So, been kind of busy, but you know, I'm gonna jump on, man, and answer some of you guys. And you know, you guys been wanting to see content, so I'm gonna start putting up more content as much as possibly can without interfering with what I'm trying to do. You know, but I really want to talk about this Shawn Porter versus Terence Crawford, November the 20th. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time. A lot of us wanted to see Errol Spence and Crawford. It really didn't matter to me whether it was Spence or Crawford. I mean, not Spencer Crawford, Spencer or Porter. I think both these fighters bring fireworks to a fight, a potential fight with Terence Crawford. I'm very surprised that this coming up. Just too much in between fights to me for any division at that. Just a lack of activity. There's not a lot of buzz going on in boxing. You know, there's still people talking about the up and coming fight next month with Fury and Deontay Wilder. I myself have no more interest in all in that fight or either of the fighters. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I'm gonna watch the fight, to be honest. I mean, I don't care who wins or loses anymore. I don't care about that fight, point blank, period. But I care more about this fight right here. Shawn Porter, 33 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 17 KOs. Crawford, 37 wins, 0 losses, 28 KOs. Both agreed to a deal on Tuesday. Excuse me. For their November 20th fight in Las Vegas, which comes just in time for the purse bid to be avoided that has been scheduled for noon. They avoided the purse bid. They must have offered them something serious. Whether it was the right move on Crawford and Porter's part to choose not to go to the purse bids is debatable. Top Rank and PVC had to have put together a great deal for Crawford and Porter to choose not to take it to the purse bids. Excuse me. I'm thinking they were saying Crawford was getting $6 million, Porter was getting $4 million. I mean, they could have got more, maybe not. You know, why take that chance? This could be the biggest fight of Crawford's career. Should he put on a good performance with the spotlight on him, Crawford will surely be the betting favorite over the 33-year-old Shawn Porter, who hasn't fought in over a year. Well, when is the last time Terence Crawford's fought? Here's my take on this fight. I've given my take before, but I'm going to add a little bit more to my opinion and what I think about the outcome of the fight. First of all, both fighters stand a great chance of winning. You know, people are already talking and pretty much shutting Shawn Porter out, you know, beating Terence Crawford. But to shut him out from actually getting a win over Crawford, I think is just not really, I don't know. In my opinion, it's not. I would never count Shawn Porter out and with any of the welterweights, including Terence Crawford. Now, I do give Bud Crawford the edge to win. I would say 60-40, and I'm going to explain why. First of all, Porter is a hard fight for any welterweight. If he shows up, you know, if the Porter that showed up against Spence, like I've mentioned in other videos, is very much capable of beating any welterweight. That type of Shawn Porter shows up against Crawford, then we looking more, in my opinion, 50-50 instead of 60-40. A lot of you are not going to agree with that. A lot of people just don't. They sleep on Shawn Porter, man. I don't, and I'm not saying that I sleep on Terence Crawford. I think he's going to win that fight. But in order for the Shawn Porter to perform like he did against Errol Spence, you would have to have a fighter willing to stand there toe-to-toe and try to outdog him, much like Errol Spence did. And if it wasn't for that knockdown, the outcome of that fight could have possibly been different. But you're not going to get that in Terence Bud Crawford. And the reason why is because he has so many different levels. I can say, in my opinion and my experience watching Shawn Porter fight, he doesn't have many levels. We saw him box against Sebastian Formella. Formella, if you don't know him, he's not that great of a fighter. He's basically a human punching bag, but he is durable. Once Porter saw that he couldn't hurt him or get Formella out of there, he elected to box, and he looked very, very good doing so. Perhaps the fact that he looked good doing so is because it was against Sebastian Formella and not, a top 5 welterweight. That's depending on your opinion. I mean, in my opinion, I think that's why he looked so good boxing. But he did show a different type of Shawn Porter than what we're usually used to seeing. Shawn Porter reminds me a lot of Manny Pacquiao. And when I say he reminds me a lot of Manny Pacquiao, I don't think that they have a similar style. I think they have a similar approach to fighters. And they don't really make a lot of adjustments. I think that they're going to fight the same regardless of who they fight. Their style is not going to change much. And now, when Pacquiao fought Ugas, he couldn't make adjustments because he's not a fighter known to make adjustments. He just wasn't training for Ugas. I can guarantee you, if they knew that they were fighting Ugas in the same amount of time that they knew that they were fighting Errol Spence, and the injury happened, they would have been better prepared, because they would have gotten sparring partners of Ugas' stature, his build, his height, his style. And Manny Pacquiao would have been more used to that long rangey style, and used to a fighter like Ugas, not necessarily making adjustments, but just being in there, being used to that type of fighter. Shawn Porter, I believe, is the same way. He doesn't make a lot of adjustments. He does fight in the same manner as he has in his 30-some-odd fights, so you're not going to see much change. But being that he knows who he's going to fight, best believe his dad is going to be getting sparring partners with the similar style as Crawford. The sparring partners are going to be made to mimic Crawford's style, and he'll be better suited for that style when he gets in there, whether he's making adjustments or not, which he's not known as a fighter to make adjustments, just like Manny Pacquiao, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, Crawford, on the other hand, is a fighter who adapts, who does make adjustments. There is a window of opportunity to beat Terence Crawford. For those of you who do not pay attention, Crawford gets caught early, and the early rounds he loses. So in order for Porter to have a grand opportunity to beat Terence Crawford, he's going to have to get a hold. He's going to be able to touch him early. Gamboa was able to touch Crawford early. So if Gamboa was, able to do so, Porter will too, So if he gets Crawford hurt in those early rounds that he's able to be hit, he better jump on him and get him out of there. That's the only window of opportunity I think he's going to have to defeat Terence Bud Crawford. Is that possible? Yes. Porter's not known to have one-punch knockout power. His style is more geared towards mauling his opponent, being physically strong, breaking down his opponent throughout the course of the fight. But if you don't get Bud Crawford out of there within the first 4 or 5 rounds, you're losing. Because he is a master adapter. He adapts. And he has so many tools in his arsenal, more so than Shawn Porter. So if that fight goes anywhere longer than 4 rounds, then I don't see Shawn Porter winning. Shawn Porter's going to come in shape, but Crawford is too. And Crawford is just, I think, the better, superior fighter, all-around fighter, which will lead him to a victory should Shawn Porter not be able to get him out of there early. And I think a lot of Shawn Porter's downfall is he still has the same trainer. Now, his dad's training method, the Porter way, has taken him to a world title. But I think his dad has taken him as far as he can possibly go. I know he doesn't want to separate from his dad. They're conjoined at the hip, you know what I'm saying? And a great father and son team to boot. But I think his father has taken him as far as he could possibly go. And I think he needs to bring somebody else in a little different who can take him a step further. You know, and he's not getting any younger, 33 years old. I mean, in my eyes, that's not old, but still, and boxing years, that's getting up there. So I'm looking for Terence Crawford to win this fight via unanimous decision, possibly. I don't think he's going to stop or knock out Shawn Porter, but it's boxing, anything can happen. But I just see him just completely outboxing, outthinking, counterpunching, and using the ring with effective movement and lateral movement. And I don't think Shawn Porter is going to have an answer for him should he let that fight get outside of 3 to 4 rounds, in my personal opinion. But nevertheless, I think it's going to be an exciting and a very, very intriguing fight. I think it's going to be very competitive because Shawn Porter there's not many people who can outdog him. You know, Errol Spence was able to do it, but that was Errol Spence before the car accident, which is two totally different fighters from how I view him. I just don't think he's the same and never will be. But either way it go, I'll pay for this fight. I'll watch it. And what is it going to be on ESPN Plus pay-per-view? I think they have a subscription out there for $7 a month, which isn't that bad. Either way it go, I'm going to watch this fight. And that's what I think is going to happen. If it's going to be an early fight, it'll be Shawn Porter. He has that small window of opportunity. If he doesn't capitalize on that, then no way in the world he's going to catch up with Crawford down the stretch, because Crawford gets better down the stretch. And he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, you know, the further the fight goes. You know, he's just a superior boxer. And he's you know, and if you can't adapt in the ring, you're not going to beat Crawford. And Porter's not the type of fighter who adapts. His style is pretty much what you see from round 1 on, you know, except when I see him fight Sebastian Formella, which he did show that he could actually box, but against a totally different level of opposition is yet to be seen and known. But, you know, never mind what I'm talking about. I want to know what you talking about. So comment down below, let your boy Real Talk know. As always, respect all, fear none. God bless. Till the next time, Real Talk Boxing. We up and we out of here, baby. Bye, yeah.